morning, dear listeners. Today I have another beautiful guest in the studio. This is Zhanna Zaporozhchenko, and we know each other from our meetings, regular meetings at the conferences in Ukraine. We would always bump into each other in different events and workshops for teachers, both teaching general English and exam preparation. Zhanna is a very strong personality and is a business lady, I would say, because she runs her own school. And today she's going to share lots of things about her experience teaching and running a school. So, Zhanna, what are you busy doing these days? Tell us, please, about your current job right now.
Okay, so hello everyone, and Tanya, I'm happy to see you again after a while. And so actually I think that I can talk a lot, so probably it's fine if you stop me and interrupt me, okay? So that I stick to the point and to the topic. So I'm a teacher of English, and also I'm a school owner. I have two schools in two different, like two offline schools in two different towns, which are Konotop, it's my hometown, and now I'm living in Irpin, so I have another small, much smaller offline school here. So I mostly teach offline, but I also have some online groups, one adult group and one teenage group.
Tell, what is it like running a school? How do you feel doing that? Is it very challenging?
So, you know, I think that it's so natural for me. I've been doing it for more than 18 years. And initially, it wasn't like my objective and the main goal to have a school, probably not to have a school, but not to be a manager of the school or something like this. So I didn't have that clear business idea. That's for sure. And now when I look at all this route, I see that it came very naturally, and that's why I feel like okay with it and happy and satisfied. So yeah, I do appreciate that I can manage these two schools right now.
You mentioned that you've been in this area for about 18 years. What was your initial vision for the school, and how has it evolved over time? Do you see the difference in the beginning and right now?
So yeah, actually, maybe it's worth mentioning that I've been teaching for more than 20 years, even maybe 24 years. And before that, I had some experience working in public schools, both in Kyiv and in my hometown, and even at universities. Also, I used to work as an interpreter for a while. And then I decided that it's not like the thing that I'm going to do, like to be an interpreter, to work for a public school, because it's like mostly about some restrictions and things that you don't agree to, but still you can change it. And I think that this feeling of freedom, which I have inside of me, it's like pushed me to think about something different. And then probably it was the time when I was working for a language school in Kyiv. It was in like 2004, I suppose. And this was like Images Vita. It was like quite a famous school at that time. And the director, he had like two directions, like language school and a business training. And he was a coach. So it was him. His name is Volodymyr Kolevai. He's like quite a famous person among business people. He like gave me this idea, and he raised my self-esteem that I could do more than just teach. Like he said that it was mostly due to my personality type. And at that point, I decided to try something. I had to quit the job and to come back to my hometown because of some family issues. And then, yes, I started to develop my plan. yeah, to have a school. But at that point, it was just something I just liked teaching a lot. And I understood that I can't do it at a public school. And that was like, at that time, the only way for me is just to start up something that I believe is a good thing to do. And so like there was no one actually to support me at that time. And just my family members even tried me to talk me out of this idea. But then I decided not to quit. I believe that it can work, and it worked. So yeah, at that time, and I started with like 6 or 8 students at that time in just a small room. Yeah, but then now in that school that I actually like founded in Konotop, there are more than 600 students. The number like changes every year, but it's from 600 to 700.
So it's a huge school. And the second one you have in Irpin, and what inspired you to open the school in that area? How many students you have there?
Okay, so I moved in Irpin 5 years ago, and yeah, so I thought that I have this model of founding schools, so I could do another one here. And it was a different way, because at this time I just had a more clear business plan, but it didn't work as well as as with the first school actually. Because there are a lot of different language schools, tutors, and so it's like very competitive here. Yeah, and it's much smaller, and it's just me and one of my colleagues working here. And actually the colleague who is working now together with me, she used to be my pupil. And I'd been teaching her for more than 9 years. Then I moved to Irpin, and one of my colleagues prepared her for those exams and all that stuff. And now she's a student of a linguistic university, and we work together. So that's amazing.
So in this second school in Irpin, you have just 2 teachers.
Yeah, right now, yeah, I have only 2. And yeah, some of the teachers who used to work here, they moved when the war started. They moved, immigrated to different countries, unfortunately, and it's really very hard to find a teacher here. So that's the main issue I'm struggling with.
What about the school in Konotop? How many teachers do you have there?
Well, now about 10. I say about because some of them are going on a maternity leave, some of them are coming back, and in September, so some of them will be working part-time. But like 9 or 10 teachers who work full-time.
Mm-hmm. Can you please describe the range of the courses that you offer in your schools? What is your student like? What are the interests of your student, and which programs do you offer?
So both in Konotop and Irpin, mostly we teach school children, like starting from the first grade to the final class. And also we have some adults, but these are just a few groups. And we teach adults only online, because it's like easier just to get the groups and to put them together. And as for kids, like we have different curriculums, and we mostly we take a course book as a basis, and we can change something, we can improve, we can add or skip some things, but mostly we take a course book, and we do it like for 1 year, like we come a level, we go through the book, and they get 1 level higher. Also, we prepare for final exams like ZNO or NMT now, and FC, which is quite popular, and we usually talk them into to take the exam at the final class, because it doesn't need any special preparation if they're getting ready for 2 of them. Like it's much easier.
Mm-hmm. Are there many students who are interested in taking Cambridge exams?
So the number used to be bigger because when it was very popular to go to some universities in Poland especially, and they needed that IELTS or FCE was also fine. Then yeah, we used to prepare more students. Now the number is not so big, but still, if we see that the student can pass the exam with no difficulties, like he or she is quite prepared, then we persuade to try, and they usually do it with good results. And yeah.
Mhm. All right, coming back to the team, you mentioned that you have all in all about 12 students, the 12 teachers in your team. Can you define your management style? You as a manager and as the runner of the school, what is your management style? How do you organize the work of teachers?
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say that I don't have any like business or managerial qualifications. So it was just the thing of intuition for me to manage all that stuff. But then when I realized that there are quite a lot of teachers and a lot of students, I started reading some watching something about management. But for me, the main thing is trust. And I think that all the teachers appreciate it. And that's why some of teachers have been working from the very beginning, and they're still in our team. It's trust, it's like very good relationship. It's not about like being friends. It's not like that I mean that we share some private secrets. No, but it's just we know that we can rely on each other, and everyone understands that our school is like one whole mechanism, and we are just small parts of it, and we can't let each other down. So everyone tries to be competent, to be like hardworking, and not to let each other down. And also, it's what is very important. I think that it's very nice. I think that I had this experience working in public schools, and for some people, like when I was employed, and I realized some things that I wouldn't like to have as an employee, for example, yeah, and something like I would like to implement, and that's why I try to create this perfect place for teachers, and I always try to listen to them, to things that they suggest. And we often have like staff meetings where I ask them for their feedback and what they would like to change, starting from the curriculum or just workload. So I don't try to push them, but to be a role model in some ways. Maybe it's like a very sophisticated term, but yeah, that's what I try to do.
Sounds great to create this community of like-minded people, yeah, people who can
Mm-hmm.
time. And when you're looking for teachers, you mentioned that it's a big trouble and difficulty to find a good teacher offline
Mm-hmm.
for the school. Which qualities do you look for when hiring a teacher, and which struggles do you have when having these interviews and understanding that the teacher is not suitable for your school?
Mm-hmm. So for me, like a good teacher, it's like a person, this is a person who has like a quite fluent English, for example, yeah, and knowledgeable at teaching, and has some good personality qualities, like, and if so all these things are equally very important. But personality is core, I suppose, because if you if you're ready to develop, if you are responsible, if you like what you do, then language and teaching skills, they can be improved. It's just the matter of your discipline, motivation, and all that stuff. So for me, it's very important that the person loves his or her job, and who has like some good qualities, because it's very important to have this rapport with kids and then communication with parents. And it might be an issue if this person has like is a tough person or is difficult to communicate with, even if he or she has like very good command of English or is a super experienced in teaching. So
How can you understand the personality when doing a job interview, or does it reveal later when they start teaching?
So a few times when I took on a person, some people, and when I hesitated, that I had some kind of hesitations. And it turned out that I was right at the very first interview. And then like these people, I can't say that I just fired or something like this, but we had a kind of talk, or in a while I understood that it's very difficult to cooperate with this person. So I suggested some other places to go. I knew that there is a vacancy or something, and I talked into that it would be better for this person to go somewhere else. Generally, yes, I have this talk. I ask them to give a kind of to answer some questions which can be quite personal, probably, and to I ask them about the situations which might be with parents and kids, and how would they react, what would they say, and their attitude to some things. And when I see their attitude to some things in general in life, then it's obvious what type of personality they are.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's except for, like, of course, we have questions on teaching, and I ask them to teach an episode from the class or something like that.
Mhm. What about professional development of your teachers in your team? Do you offer any training? Do you support them when they develop themselves? How is it organized in your school? If they, for example, get a better qualification, does their salary grow? Like, is there any connection between?
Okay, so as for salary, maybe I would start from this point. They get salary depending on the number of students they have. It's not about the pay for a class, for example. And that's make them be interested in having as many students as possible. And they just care and do care, and they don't want to lose them. And probably it's even subconsciously that they try hard and harder. And if they like, they have a kind of a plan. We usually do it together. And it's not compulsory, but very advisable. And I suggest that they take this or that course, either in language or teaching. And at first, for example, when a new teacher comes and I know that this person needs some, for example, support, like financial support, I usually cover 50% of the courses that they take. This can be like short courses or webinars. And then their salary, and the first year, it's a kind of a trial year. So they had like a little bit less salary. But then if everything is fine, and usually everything is fine, they have like 10% more salary. And then they have like nice groups, and like, I mean, that the number of students is bigger, and respectively their salary grows. And also, like, we raise the fee every year, and again their salary grows.
Mhm.
As for the correspondence, this I don't have, like, if you've done the 3 courses, you will have like this salary. No, but there is a system of bonuses, and if they do some extra job, they can, for example, I ask them to do some interviews or testing, or for example, even to take some photos, videos, some episodes from their class. And there are some very active teachers that they also have bonuses for that, because it's like extra job that they're not supposed to do.
What about the size of the groups? You mentioned that if they have more students, they get some, they get more salary. So what is the maximum size of your group?
So it's usually three, starting from 3 to 6, but most groups are like 6 students. There are 6 students in each group. Sometimes, like if there is no place and we know that it's our like old student, we take it like it's the 7th, but usually there are 6 students.
Mhm. All right, let's move on to talking about your students. Then, what kind of feedback do you have to get the students' impressions and to get the students' opinion of the classes? How is it organized in your school?
So you mean with kids we don't do any feedback like it's like something that we have during the course. We see what they like and or they don't like, but it's not like a report or something like. With the adults, personally, I now, because I've tried out a lot of options how to do it. Now we just have from time to time this nice talk at the beginning of one of the classes. What would they like to change? What would they like to do in this like short period, like for next 2 months to be different? And even when we're choosing the next level, for example, the same group, but they're going to another level, I always ask their advice and how they see what type of course we should take, what type of platform, because they sometimes they say that they don't need these physical books, they're tired of it, and they want just the platform. And we had one course on the platform and they said, okay, now can we buy the physical books again? Okay. So, and I asked them why, what exactly makes them think this or that way. So that's the only probably way, like we have a nice chat with them.
What about teenagers? Do teachers write any reports for parents?
Okay, so yeah, so again, it depends. Like I've probably already mentioned that the teachers are free to choose the format of assessment, and the same about giving feedbacks. As for kids, for example, because we have a lot of primary school, like young learners groups, so what we do, first, they have a kind of assessment in the stickers at the end of the class, like smile, stars, and all that stuff. Then there are a lot of ways how to count them, that they count them. It can be either at the end of the semester or the school year, and they have a kind of a fair when we have the stationery bought or some sweets, candies, and they buy for this like money, stars, stickers, and all that stuff. And at the same time, during the year, teachers communicate with parents, and usually these are like phone talks, if it's necessary. Because if the parent sees that their kid goes and enjoys studying at our school and has usually parents look at their results at school and they see that they really improve, then they don't need any feedback from us. As for teenagers, we do feedback, but almost for those who are like troublesome students, and we need the support from parents, or at least we need to know them that there is no progress, for example, or that they don't do a lot of stuff, and then we will be responsible for the result. So we do. Sometimes we do these like charts with also different, like when they have a lot of debts, like they haven't handed in the essay or something, like haven't passed the speaking task at the end of the unit, then yes, we do, and we like have penalties, like double homework or something like this. Because you know, we used to do a lot of feedback for parents, but I know that they don't even read, and those who see the result, they say, oh, great, my child is so smart. And probably, yes, they do appreciate what the teacher does. But usually if they don't read it and don't get into that detail. And yeah, we used at the end of the year, we usually give them a kind of a certificate with the level. And we used to write this report, like you've mentioned, like it was on different systems and skills, and then some recommendations. But again, it's not that what the parents pay attention to. So that's not like something they really appreciate, and it doesn't help us as teachers. So now I give this certificate at the end of the year only, not at the end of the semester. It's very nice, and it's about the level completion. And also there is, I put the number of the scores that they get within the year. And they can compare, and then, okay, then it's very competitive and makes them try harder during the classes and do their homeworks properly. I mean that I put grades every class, and then yes, I have this chart and Google the chart, and then I share with them. At the end of the year, they have this overall score, which makes them like work harder. But I know that it doesn't work with all the students, and only up to some age, because then they will like nothing can motivate them.
That's actually a unique feature of your school, that you put grades. Not every language school or language academy give grades. Maybe for tests in the end they do, but for like every class, this like continuous, not always.
Okay, Tanya, it's not about the whole school. For example, it's about me at this very case. But I know that some teachers do, they have their assessment system, because some groups do need, if we see that in this particular group it works, then they will do it. If not, then okay, because there are some groups that don't need any assessment or something, they like work in the way we would like them to do it.
What about homework? Is it obligatory for students?
Yeah, it's obligatory. Like we always have, we normally have like the course book and the workbook. So it's mostly something in their workbook to do, but also they have a lot of other tasks, like to learn the words on Quizlet cards, or to prepare some writing, yeah, or they have like speaking tests, or how to call them, speaking classes, when they have to talk a lot, so they prepare different things to discuss to be ready.
Do you run any other classes besides regular course book, like organizing summer camps or speaking clubs or cinema clubs or grammar clubs, pronunciation things? Like, do you run things like that?
So in school in Konotop, we used to do a lot of different courses, and yeah, we had summer camps, which were like real fun for kids, but it was like a real trouble for teachers. Yeah, and then we stopped doing it. But we have like some intensive courses, like summer intensive courses in grammar, and during the year we have speaking clubs. We have offline speaking clubs, and also we have online speaking clubs. And now we are lucky to have a nice guy from the USA, a native speaker, and I help him like to design, to shape these classes, and he teaches speaking with kids and adults.
So these are online classes with.
He's in Irpin, so with Irpin students, he comes here, and we have offline clubs, but with Konotop students, he has online classes.
Do you plan to introduce any other new courses or programs into your regular curriculum?
So we've tried this summer. It was a kind of cinema club, or how to call it. So one of the teachers, Julia, actually, she designed a course based on TV series for teenagers. And yeah, so it was quite a popular one. But you know, if the customers change, then probably the courses will change. But now we try to listen to what is in demand among our students. And these are mostly school children, so they just need their level to be higher and to be prepared at the end of their school to exams, to be prepared for the exams. And if they do it in the way we've been designing and changing, we're changing the course books all the time, you know, and trying to improve. So then they can take the exams and pass them at a very good level, and it's very natural, no pressure, no stress, like. So that's why we do what we do now.
Any reading clubs? Do they have any home reading that they need to do?
Yeah, so it's already a kind of is a part of the curriculum. They can have read like we have several Oxford or Penguin readers, and yeah, from time to time we have like reading classes and movie clubs, like not the course, but from time to time. What else? So yeah, speaking clubs, movie clubs, and reading.
Lots of things. You do a lot of things. Do you have any person to help you to organize the programs, to think of some new ideas, or does it all come from you?
No, of course, it's not from me only. Like all the teachers are very active participants of all the processes. And even if we talk about like CPD, continuous professional development, it's not all the ideas come from me, because all girls attend different events, and they always share in a group. And the same about teaching, like we share all the things that we know, some new tools that we've tried out and they worked. And also the same, sorry, I forgot the question.
Yeah, about who generates ideas.
Yeah. So all of the teachers generate ideas, but some of them like more active because it's like their personality type. For example, Kate and Julia. So they're even responsible for some things. It's not just their responsibility that in the contract. No, it's just they feel that they can be really active in, and they know a lot of things about that, because some of girls are like very organized, and they follow all those things on Instagram about, for example, new books, course books, and all that stuff. So they eagerly share. Some of them are responsible for technical things. For example, Julia is the teacher that you know, and her husband is an IT specialist. So we often ask him to help us with the site or with some new things and platforms and all that stuff. So all the ideas, if they come up, we have a list of ideas before the staff meeting, because we regularly have these staff meetings. And the first part of the staff meetings is always about CPD, because we have to develop all the time. And then those that are like hot issues to be solved. And the girls usually have millions of ideas, and we just have to pick the best one.
Kind of works like brainstorming, everybody gets.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like brainstorming.
You are very active on social media, your school. You post a lot of things, different reports from summer camps and from your courses. Who is responsible for that in your school? Do you have a person who does it, or is it you who does it?
No, I have a person, and actually, like during this time, we've had a few people So now there is a girl, like our social media manager. She used to be our student. She's actually a teacher of English, but she doesn't want to work as a teacher. So it's very nice and very easy for me now to work with her because she has a good level of English. So I just all those stuff with idioms and everything that we post in English is like her responsibility only. And yeah, but probably it's like some sad thing to mention, but I'd like to that we used to have a really nice guy, but he was killed during the war. He took part in that I don't remember. So in one of the battles, the famous ones, and yeah, so he used to be our social media manager, cameraman, photographer, famous one, a very creative person in our town, and his wife is currently working with English Club. She's a teacher, and they used to sing together. They are both musicians. Yeah, so he created really great stuff for our school, like lots of videos and all those adverts that were really successful and worked out. And we do miss him because the main thing that he was a great person. And so that's something that very sad, but still it's a reality. So that's what I wanted to mention. Yeah, and of course I wouldn't be able to organize all that stuff myself. So I need people to assist, to help, and in some way probably they are even more in charge of some things, and I assist or just sometimes monitor and control.
Yeah, yeah, running a school involves lots of things, like starting from renting a place,
Yeah.
the things, salaries, hiring, firing, programs, students, parents, lots of things. What has been the most rewarding aspect of owning and running a school for you?
So probably if we mention only, so except for teaching, because I'm a teacher as well. So for me, the most rewarding is the process of teaching is really enjoyable for me. And the results of students, it's something rewarding. And as for as owning a school, what I do appreciate, and actually I always write, like I have a morning routine to write the list of the things that I'm thankful for. And one of them is that I have the school, my job, and colleagues. So that's what I do appreciate. And I feel that I'm not alone, like I'm a part of a community. Probably it's not that big, but it's really something genuine, and I can really rely on them. So that's why I really appreciate and find it rewarding. And the students, the learners, pupils, parents, because I have this very good connections, and that's what there is a big energy exchange, and that what feeds me and makes me be so resourceful and resilient.
Which single advice would you give to somebody who wants to open their own school offline?
Offline? So the first thing is probably, because I use this approach in both preparing for classes, like while planning the class, and doing anything almost when I have just to do something, to make a choice and to take a step. It's just the approach of what, why, and how. So probably it's very important for a person to understand why exactly, what, okay, offline school, why? Because at this stage, probably some people will quit, or probably at the stage of how. But it's not that I want to discourage, no, but it's going to be challenging, and the expenses are really high, and it's very important to have the budget because you never know how it can work. And yeah, so it's much more expensive to have all this stuff compared to online schools, where you have just to pay for the internet and maybe advertising campaign, and that's it. But talking about offline schools, but if you do believe, if you like what you do, and if you take this extra mile, because I can tell you from my own experience, it's very important to do something extra. And starting from working overtime, like making tea for them, like maybe teaching some stuff for free, and having that like relationship with parents, so that you can explain and they trust you. And so that's very, very important. And if you're ready for that, then everything can work. And being persistent, consistent, yeah, so that might help.
Have you had any point in your life when running a school that you wanted to quit everything, like it was a disaster, or you were maybe emotionally drained and you didn't have powers to continue?
Well, I never had such a feeling with my first school. I even I felt that I'm so blessed to have, like, it was like not that difficult to expand it and to develop it. But in Irpin, yeah, there were some periods, but I think it was connected with burnout, and when you feel that you are burnout, you just want to quit, not just having a school, but even just giving classes and teaching. So there were some periods when I wanted to quit teaching. Yeah, and there was the period of my life when I was like in two minds, and I didn't know what exactly to do. I don't know whether you know that my school in Irpin here was completely ruined, and during the occupation by Russians. And so the funny thing is that it's like a block of offices, and there are 8 of them, and only my office was ruined. It was completely ruined. So I had to make a decision whether to continue it working as a school or just give it for rent after reconstruction. And then I decided to start everything from the scratch almost. And yeah, thanks to my family and our neighbors who actually raised money, and we built the walls and the roof together again. And the rest of the decoration and all that stuff was done by me and my husband. And now I don't have regrets about that, but there was the point that I was thinking whether to maybe to switch to something completely different here in Irpin, I mean.
Yeah. And how many hours do you teach right now at your school in Irpin?
Yeah, like I have 6 groups. So that's about 14 hours like of classes a week, not so many. Because I used to have like 15 groups sometimes. There were some periods, and I used to work on Saturdays, but now, yeah, I don't work at the weekend. So yeah, like 6 groups.
Mhm. What about your working day? When do you start it and when do you finish?
So here in Irpin, we have like a lot of students who have like second shift at school. That's why I start at 10. We have morning groups, and some of my groups finish like adult groups. It's like at about 8 p.m.
So that's from 10 to 8 the whole.
Yeah, but there are a lot of breaks, but so it's quite a long and tiring day, working day with breaks.
Mhm. How do you manage those days when there are blackouts at winter time, for example, or these days?
Mm-hmm. So we have to be like very, very extremely flexible now. And yeah, and so both teachers and students are. So we always have that plan B. And if there is blackout, but still there is electricity or they have the internet, then we have an online class. And yeah, we can like, or sometimes we have to cancel the class and have it another time. So different variants, or just to cancel the class and then cut down on the payment. So different variants. Now I think that we've adapted and that's fine, but it was very challenging at the beginning. But now, yeah. So I had to buy special equipment for both schools, you know, so that we can survive somehow and to be ready for online and offline studies. And also in my big school, which is bigger, we have that basement, which is equipped as a classroom so that they can go down when they hear the sirens.
It adds extra challenges to you and to teachers and to students as well.
Yeah. But I think that people have already got used to this style and they just take the chance to do anything, just whether it's classes or something else.
What about personally your level of English? How do you manage to maintain it? Do you read? Do you listen to something? Do you do extra classes yourself?
So yeah, for me it's very important to improve my level all the time, because currently I'm working mostly with teenagers, and my maybe the group with the highest level that I have now, they are B2 students, and we are starting C1 in September. And to maintain the level and to improve it, I have to do something, because I'm not exposed to the language that much. I mean that I don't live in the environment. So what I do read some fiction books. I try to watch Netflix. I have a subscription, but I don't have time to watch. If I watch it like not for pleasure, but I make notes. I always watch with subtitles, make screenshots. So it's a kind of work, but I like it. I also read some motivational books, and they are mostly presents from my colleagues because they know that I like such kind of books. And now I'm reading The Power of Habit, and I find it very useful and beneficial for all aspects of life, work, teaching, just balance. And I believe that a lot of things can be changed when you change your habits. What else? Yeah, last year, like school year, I took classes with the native, and I'm going to do it next school year. She's she's not a native, like, I mean, she has Italian origin, but she'd been working for a British consul for many years, like more than 20 years or something. And she is a CELTA trainer. So that's why I can improve my English, and at the same time I always have that list of questions to ask her, and she gives me a lot of tips, and just we even exchange some ideas. Like, she tells me her issue and I can recommend her what to do, and sometimes I don't know what topic to pick for next speaking club, and she says, why don't you do this or that? And yeah, so that's what I enjoy. And yeah, in this way I try to improve my language. And I've mentioned the native speaker from the USA, so I also have a lot of conversation with him, and it also helps me to make some notes on vocabulary and all that stuff.
Do you have any hobbies that you can devote your time to? You seem to be very busy, like working and improving your own language. But what about your free time? How do you spend it usually?
Okay, so you know, if you asked me about that 5 years ago, the answer would be completely different. But now, after the war started, I really revalued loads of things, you know, and my lifestyle and my daily routine look not completely, but really different from what used to be. And now all of my free time I devote to dancing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it takes like I go to dancing classes to different clubs and different styles 4 times a week, and stretching and some fitness, but I do fitness at home. I've already taken part in some concerts for amateurs. Can you imagine?
That's
And
cool.
yeah, so that's where I find the energy and the resource, and I understand how important it is. And also, like some experts said that it's very important to take your resource where the like females can take the resource from its hobbies. That's what I do. Then trying to spend time somewhere in the nature. That's also something that I do from time to time. Meditation and socializing with other ladies, you know, the special energy. And then when I combine all that stuff, then I can have energy and to be resourceful and share it with my students and with my family.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I have to combine all these things together in one life, like householding, work, career, teaching, dancing.
What about learning other languages?
Yeah, so I there was a period of time when I was learning Spanish. Now I have a pause, but I'd like to continue doing it. So I've picked Spanish because I was thinking at that time about dancing, and that was everything interconnected because I wanted to take up Argentinian tango, and now I do it. And it was about Spanish. So I was a kind of motivated, you know. Um, so first I tried some classes from the language school, and there were 2 schools that I studied at. But the thing that gave me the biggest result was the cooperation with a study buddy that I'd like really to share. And it was for maybe 4 or 5 months, but the result was, I don't know, my Spanish rocketed, you know. And it was about self-discipline and about being dedicated to what you do. And yeah, so I practiced Spanish, like even to myself, you know, retelling things, what I've been doing during the day, for example, almost every day.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we had classes together. Like no one was a teacher. We're like just 2 participants. I was the person who created the curriculum, and this study buddy, he used to be my student. He was very good at technical things and all those resources. So he has suggested some things how to organize it. And
Mhm.
yes, so the result was really fascinating. And when I resumed classes with the teacher, like, and she couldn't believe that I had done it myself, like without any tutor, just with a guy who also wanted to study Spanish. So I'm telling this story because I share this story with my students as well. So if you work actively, if you think like, and you use all those cognitive processes, then everything is possible.
Mhm. That's an amazing story. Like
Yeah.
working with a person who is not a teacher and who just
No,
study the same as you, just a
yeah.
combination. Yeah. So was it like giving classes to each other or just discussing things?
Yeah, we had a kind of classes with a controlled practice, free practice. Yes, we had a lot of Quizlet sets, and I, as a teacher, made the curriculum. I knew, for example, what A2 is supposed to include, and yeah, we looked for different rules and tasks, and I created a lot of tasks myself. And we had speaking practice, voice messages almost every day. And yeah, I tried that lexical approach maybe while learning this way. Yeah, so that was amazing. I mean, the result, and it was visible, and that made me study even more. And yeah, so it was very encouraging. We encouraged, cheered up each other, but then this person like moved to another country, and we have like a gap in time zones. And then, you know, when I resumed classes with the teacher, I just literally took maybe 2 or 3 and then quit again, because it was like nothing compared to what I'd been doing. But yeah, now I need a study buddy. So if you know anyone.
What is your current level of Spanish right now?
So I think that at that stage it was A2, but now probably again, since I haven't had practice for 1 year, I'm sure that it will be easier for me to revise some things and to come back to the A2 level probably, but yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Zhanna. It was such a lovely talk with you. You actually told a lot of things about running a school, lots of insights, how to do it, some nice advice and recommendations for those who are thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's rewarding, really, but it's a difficult job, and you have to plan in advance.
Yeah.
Things, including finances and organization and work with other people in a team. Thank you so much for this talk.
So I would I can share anything that I know and everything that I know, if it can be beneficial for anyone, so that anyone can ask me if it can be useful for those who are thinking of starting up a school or something like that, or teaching.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation.
Okay, thank you, Tanya, for having me and inviting. Thanks a lot.